But I want to hear about the Ardennes Classics. First of all, why do they call it Le Doyen?
It's the oldest.
The oldest of the
Yeah,
classics.
Liège-Bastogne Liège.
And that's an old lady, right? Don't they have sort of a
that I'm
image?
not sure, but
Okay.
I did a translation and it said basically like the eldest or the senior or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was a great trip. What was a highlight for me was I got a chance to ride all the courses.
Right.
I went out and did the Grand Fondo at the Amstel Gold Race, which is, I don't know, Rory, if Rory's done it, we can talk to him about it, but it is absolutely stressful beyond belief. It's turns, it's rises. There was, in the Grand Fondo, there were cars coming the other way. I mean, I don't remember the last time my nervous system was that blown at the end of a ride. We got to ride the Flèche Wallonne, do the Mur de Huy.
How tough are those climbs?
You know, they're actually comparable to the stuff around here. You know, actually, as a matter of fact, Old Stage, we've been calling it Ode, O-U-D-E, Stageberg, because it's comparable to some of the climbs over there. You know, but it's just they hit them. Like Liège, the last 100K, it's just one after another, after another, after another, and very little chance of recovery.
Well, you can see, I mean, a lot of the talk that came out of this year's Classic season was how dangerous the racing has been. Not necessarily the riders make it dangerous, but just the whole thing on all these metrics. You look at it. What you're telling me is it is crazy.
A lot of complaints about the motorcycles is what I was hearing. I know at Flèche Wallonne, Igor Martinez, a Discovery, got tagged by a motorbike, and it seems like even when they don't actually collide, often the TV motorbikes are cutting people off and causing incidents. And it's funny because you know, it's part of the sport. I mean, if the sport wants to grow, it has to have the TV, and if it wants the TV, they got to have those motos there. But between the noise and the exhaust and the commotion and, you know, people getting upset about drafting, I mean, it's just it's a necessary evil, I guess.
Yeah, the dynamics out there are just so crazy.
Yeah.
And so then how'd the other races go?
Oh, it was great. I mean, it was cool. There was 3 different winners. There was no repeat winner. All the favorites were there. I mean, it was Schumacher, you know, that was definitely team tactics with Gerolsteiner. Amstel is more of just, hey, who can power up this, or not Amstel, I'm sorry, Flèche Wallonne, who can power up the Mur de Huy. Rebellin was in control. You know, he just absolutely nailed it. Liège, you know, I would have liked to seen a little bit more aggression. I talked to Horner a bit afterwards. He was pretty upset about seeing 75 guys at the bottom of Saint Nicolas. You know, but hey, DeLuca was the best guy that day, and he won. So you know, it's a race, kind of like a race like Roubaix, where the strongest guy is going to win the race.
So before we sign off, who's going to win the Giro this year?
I think there's 2 guys. I mean, obviously, it's hard to stay on top of the rosters.
Who's racing the Giro this year?
I just saw today, actually, that Vladimir Belli is going to race for Tinkoff. He's racing for some Continental Pro team, but Tinkoff brought him in.
How do they do that?
I don't know.
So much stuff that leaves you shaking your head.
I think Cunego. I mean, 2 former winners, Damiano Cunego and Gilberto Simoni. Those are the guys to watch for. It's interesting that Hincapie will be there. I don't see him as any kind of a race favorite, but you never know what he could do. It'll be cool to see the Stars and Stripes. Maybe he can take a stage.
What about Popovic?
Yeah, he's been on the podium before.
He has, and he has a lot more support with this Discovery Channel team. So I guess we'll just have to watch the race.
That's a good pick. That could be a good dark horse.
It's kind of a good dark horse there. So, well, Neil, it's always great being at U-Bikes. They saved us this time, or we'd be soaking wet like Rory Sutherland. So I think we lucked out. I hope everyone out there is safe and enjoy the Giro d'Italia. For Neil Rogers, I'm Dave Toll. We'll see you down the road.